Once upon a time, after Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, they started their new life on earth. Adam and Eve had two sons named Cain and Abel. Cain was the older brother, and Abel was the younger one. As they grew up, they each chose different ways to live and work. Cain became a farmer, working the land and growing crops. Abel became a shepherd, taking care of sheep. Both Cain and Abel wanted to show their love and thankfulness to God, so they decided to bring him offerings. Cain brought some of the fruits and vegetables he had grown as an offering to God. Abel brought the best and fattest sheep from his flock as an offering. God looked at Abel's offering and was very pleased because Abel gave with a true and loving heart. But when God looked at Cain's offering, he was not as pleased. This made Cain very angry and upset. God saw that Cain was angry and said to him, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." Instead of listening to God's advice and making things right, Cain let his anger grow. He felt jealous of Abel because God was pleased with Abel's offering. Cain couldn't control his anger, and it led him to do something terrible. One day, Cain said to Abel, "Let's go out to the field." While they were in the field, Cain attacked Abel and killed him. It was a very sad and terrible thing because Abel was his brother. Afterwards, God spoke to Cain and asked, "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain replied, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" God knew what Cain had done and said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." Cain was scared and said to God, "My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." But God, in his mercy, put a special mark on Cain to protect him. He said, "Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." So, even though Cain had done a terrible thing, God still showed him mercy and protected him from harm. Cain went away from God's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. He started a family there and built a city. But the memory of his brother Abel and what he had done stayed with him forever. The story of Cain and Abel teaches us about the importance of a right heart. God was pleased with Abel's offering because Abel gave it with a true and loving heart. It teaches us that it's not just what we give, but how and why we give that matters to God. We should always give with love and sincerity. Cain's anger led him to do something terrible. This teaches us the importance of controlling our anger and not letting it lead us to make bad decisions. When we feel angry, we should find ways to calm down and think before we act. Cain was jealous of Abel because God accepted Abel's offering. Jealousy can make us feel bad and lead us to do wrong things. Instead of being jealous, we should be happy for others and try to do our best. When God asked Cain where Abel was, Cain tried to avoid responsibility by saying, "Am I my brother's keeper?" This teaches us that we should take responsibility for our actions and care for one another. Even though Cain did something very wrong, God still showed him mercy by protecting him. This teaches us that God is merciful and gives us chances to make things right. We should always try to be better and seek forgiveness when we make mistakes. And that's the story of Cain and Abel, a story that reminds us of the importance of love, responsibility, and the power of God's mercy. Until next time, remain blessed,